Sports podcast.
Welcome to the All Sports podcast with me, Matt, and today, James. How are you, mate?
Yeah, all okay, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, all good, thanks. And Femi, how are you?
All good, mate. Back from Cape Town, raring to go.
Okay, no life story. Straight to the. It's just same every week. Yeah, good, thanks. Same with you. I might just pre-record that bit.
Well, actually, Joel's not here, so I stepped in to ask how you are, because usually I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I'll move on the fly.
Appreciate that.
Yeah,
You're stepping it up.
I am. I'm number 2 now. I've been promoted.
Number 1 in talent.
Yeah, number 1 in talent, but in like seniority, I've gone up a step.
Nice. Just 1 week missing for Joel, and he's bumped down to number 2.
Yeah, it's like standing captain, isn't it?
It's just a given, Femi.
Yeah.
Given that you're bottom, by the way.
Based on appearances, I'm third all time.
Based on
I assumed it was at Villa Park, and that was why he wasn't attending.
Absolutely not. He's going to be sat in his sofa watching the game, and I couldn't begrudge him for it.
Let's go football then. As we're talking about the Champions League, what are Villa's chances? This is going to come out after the results already been decided. I dare say at PSG they won't score less than 3 goals, but Villa might get 1.
Yeah, I think that's massively underestimating Emery as a manager. I think he's a fantastic cup manager, and he sets teams up to win. Like over a Premier League, 38 games, it's a bit harder to do that, but they've got as good a chance as anyone. Like you saw Real Madrid last night turn up looking a little bit shell-shocked, and that can happen to any team in this competition. So I wouldn't say that Villa have no chance, but it would be, unbelievable for them to go through this leg.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't say they have no chance. PSG is a great team, and Ousmane Dembele is, he's in a great rich of form as well. He's popping with goals. I think it's greatest goal scoring season so far. I think for talent like that, who's worked his way up, started really young, was getting loads of exposure. He didn't quite make it at Barcelona, but now he's in PSG, 27, which is the proper age for a football player to develop. He's found his feet, he's popping in goals and assists. All of that just to say Villa are going to get smashed. But I wouldn't say they have no chance. I wouldn't say they have no chance.
I just don't.
One player that I think is going to be underrated, but is going to start bumping up the Ballon d'Or rankings is Barcola. He is phenomenal.
Yeah, he's brilliant. He's a brilliant player.
As an attacking forward, I'm not sure anyone that I've seen in the last few months that is better than him. Last night, Mbappe had 1 opportunity, couldn't get himself into the game. That's the difference with Barcola at the moment, and Marmoush probably. They are just so busy and looking for the ball and want to be involved and are so attacking minded. Mbappe was just waiting for things to happen last night and was clearly frustrated at the lack of service he was getting. And Vinny, we know as well, when a game goes like that, he is not interested and he is not the sort of teammate that you want.
PSG have been a really weird one this year because the Liga 1 as a league is pretty poor this year. I know they haven't lost, but if you look at the teams under them, I think second place is like 7 or 8 losses. So there isn't a hyper-competitive league that they're in. And you saw that affect them in the group stage of the Champions League. The standings, they were like lower half. They weren't good at all until they started playing the Champions Leagues. And they're being challenged by better teams. They've looked good, but I wouldn't say they're unbeatable at all. Like they're not even the best PSG I've seen in like the last 5 years. But they are looking a bit more sharp towards the back end of the season than they were at the start, definitely.
I agree.
Funnily enough, Barcola's not playing tonight. So.
Yeah. I was going to say, you're probably referring to Doué. There's also been a change in mindset. The amazing work that Luis Enrique has had on that team. He's really changed their mindset. I watched this video, I think it was in one of the docs, where he was trying to speak to Mbappe about working hard for a team and how it just wasn't all about his pace or, the finishing. It was about tracking back, working hard for a team. And if a player of his stature was able to set the right example, for the rest of the team, everyone works hard. And I think that's the mindset he's instilled in this team where everyone has just that mindset running. I mean, it'll be interesting to see their running stats for the current PSG team, but they have a very solid midfield. You have Fabio Ruiz, Vitinha, who's been brilliant as well, and Neves. You can't, like, all three of them in that midfield. It's a solid engine, and it
Not just
allows.
engines, they're technical as well, aren't they?
Yeah, they're
They're
so
really
technical as well.
ball is team,
Honestly,
right?
yeah, which is which is poor United when you look at it, because Ugarte was one of the key players for them, 2 seasons ago. Luis Enrique comes in and he gets them shipped out because he wants a player who's more technical with the ball, who's more comfortable. And United took Ugarte, who isn't as comfortable with the ball. But you have those 3 players who are very comfortable with the ball, who are also, they have that grit. You also have players who are, ready to defend, who are ready to run. I think that's been key for that team. It allows the players up top, Due, Dembele, and Crash, can't pronounce his name,
Scalia, yeah.
Crash Shayla, to do their thing up there, and it's helped them a lot massively. And you can see the results. Excited for what they do in this game though, because Villa do have some good star power. I mean, I know he's not started today, but Asensio has been brilliant for them.
Yeah.
Just popping in with the goals.
Funnily, Asensio obviously is on loan from PSG, so it's weird that he's allowed to play in this game. But there's different rules in European football, isn't there? Between
Yeah, because they hadn't registered him. PSG hadn't registered him as a European player.
yeah, it doesn't in England, even if you can't play against your feeder clubs ever, like that's a pretty standard rule. But in Europe, you see it happen way more, especially in the Champions League. Like there was a case a few
Couture
years
with
ago.
Chelsea one time.
Yeah, and Coutinho played for Bayern Munich and knocked out Barcelona. And so it happens a bit more in Europe, but I didn't think he would play. But yeah, him being on the bench makes sense because you wouldn't really want to throw him in. Like obviously he's been playing a lot, but it might be quite a not an emotional game, but it's a bit of a weird one for him to play in.
Isn't that one of the worst feelings in sport, is when you turn up to a fixture and the other team is like down a man and they're like, can someone go and play for the other team? Isn't that the worst?
It's never happened to me, but I just can't imagine you would do it. Like, yeah,
Honestly,
yeah. I just
you
back
never.
on that.
Go on.
I was just gonna say, you remember the Coutinho story I mentioned? It was like insult to injury because Coutinho played for Bayern Munich that season. Bayern Munich won the Champions League, and then Barcelona had to pay Liverpool even more money because Coutinho had won a Champions League. That was part of the clause. So it's like, oh yeah, not only knocks my club out, but then they have to pay another bunch of millions. So yeah, I can't see a scenario where it's ever a good thing to play against your own team. It's weird,
I
but
think that was
yeah,
one of the reasons that their director even got fired at the time. Was like, just what a poor decision, to make. Even with Couture playing against Chelsea at the time, and
yeah.
he had a world-class performance. This is why he was playing for Atletico Madrid. So looking back, it's happened, in previous years, but I just don't get it.
Strange one. The thing that surprised me about PSG though, I don't know if you've seen. There's 2 centre halves are quite young. So William Pacho's obviously been around a couple of years, but he's 23, and then I think it's Beraldo's only 20,
Ronaldo, yeah.
21. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Luis Enrique needs to be credited with a lot of this because they have turned a very aging team into a super young, super dynamic squad.
Yeah.
Which I mean, out of the teams that are left in there, probably I don't want Arsenal to win it. I don't think I could face that.
Yes.
I don't mind Villa going on a run, but couldn't watch Arsenal win the Champions League.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
I'd never
think
be able to go on
PSG.
Twitter again.
Yeah, PSG have the strongest shot. But watching Arsenal yesterday, oh my goodness, wow. Those are the words I have for them. And I see all my mates, literally everyone posting their story and results. I'm even thinking people I know who don't watch football posting about Arsenal. Bloody hell.
Okay.
What
Well,
was your take, Matt, as an Arsenal fan?
I think I've said about the Premier League, it's been really frustrating because Arsenal have got a win and you don't feel like you can celebrate it because they're not going to win the league, so it feels a little superfluous. Whereas getting a win like that in the Champions League, where it still does matter, has a lot more power on your emotions. But also, there's a lot of pride in the way that they played, that it was a full team performance, that everyone was signed up to the same agenda, defended as a unit, they pressed together and they suffocated the midfield, and Real Madrid had no outlets. So there was one through ball from Bellingham to Mbappe that was Real Madrid's only real chance, and other than that they were suffocated and didn't look a threat. I think they had 30 inside Arsenal's box in total, and Arsenal had, I think, more than triple that. or it was about triple. Yeah, 36. So they had 36 touches inside Real's box. Just a constant threat. The way that Arsenal attacked as well was ruthless at speed, and Saka and Martinelli. I think Saka being back has given Martinelli some energy on the other side as well. There's not as much pressure on him, and he's able to play the way that he plays best, which is running at speed at people. And Saka is just twisting and turning defenders inside out. Alaba had a game to remember because Saka just tormented him. But Saka didn't look rusty at all. He looks like he'd been playing every minute for the last month. But yeah, so it was a performance to be proud of as an Arsenal fan. And obviously those goals were worldies. Even Marino's goal, a little pullback to him, awkward finish, and it was there was nowhere else he could have put it. And then, yeah, obviously Declan Rice's, those are going to be replayed for years to come, and the stats have come out. Only 5 players have now done that with...
Juninho, is that his name?
I don't know if it was Juninho. Ziyech has done it, and Cristiano Ronaldo as well. So to join that list of scoring 2 direct free kicks in the same game is pretty cool. But they were incredible.
Felt like very much like Declan Rice's David Beckham moment, didn't he? Like he was like, okay, like I'm a serious player. I've got a serious game on me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just those 2 goals to do it in a game like that, and they're not just like free kicks they've gone in. They're both world class free kicks.
Yeah, world class free kicks against a world class goalkeeper and world class defence. But it was, if he hadn't have scored those goals, he still may have got man of the match because he was imperious.
Yeah, he was everywhere.
Whenever you put in a stat in the same stat as Cristiano Ronaldo, then
doing all right, aren't you?
You're doing all right.
Yeah.
And Saka, oh my goodness. You know, I know people talk about is he world class. I think now that conversation has changed. You know, he's definitely a world class player. He's up there. You know, the best of the best. You know, to take, what was it, 6-8 weeks off for injury.
Longer. Yeah.
Wow. He was meant to be back in March initially, then got injured again. So that's why
I think he was injured since November.
Yeah.
Wow. To take that much off and come back and still be at that level, like it's incredible. And I think enough's not said about Saka. I think if this was Foden, you know, we're having conversations about.
Yeah, but he hasn't won anything, which counts for a lot.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, but I wouldn't. Yeah, he hasn't won anything, but I think that's more to do with his team rather than him as a player.
Yeah, you can see how much they've missed him while he's been gone.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Part of how
when Saka plays for England, I don't think there's any player who puts in a better shift.
No.
Yeah, where you say he's probably world class is right, because I don't think he ever has less than an 8 or a 9 out of 10 in a game. So to do that consistently, like to do it last night against Real Madrid, against their defense, and turn them inside out like he did, is one thing. But to consistently do that in every game against every defender you play against, whether it's Real Madrid or if it's Stoke on a Monday night, is irrelevant to Saka.
Yeah, and he does it with the big games. You know, this season I think he's had a goal contribution against City. He's had one against Liverpool. Now he's had one, and I know he didn't have any with Madrid, but you know he's still put in a brilliant performance, and we still need to give him his flowers. Declan Rice, I think he's finally justified the fee paid for him just off those 2 goals. If I'm being honest, because if you go on to don't win the Champions League. Those are 2 goals that we'll be talking about.
Merch-wise, yeah, Declan Rice shirt's going to go off the shelves now. Yeah, you have a moment like that, a game like that, then it does stuff to merch. The thing is, like, yeah, it's great, but Arsenal aren't going to beat Real Madrid in the next game, PSG over 2 legs, and Barcelona in the final. It's just not going to happen. So they're not going to win it, but this is promising. This is just promising for Arsenal's future.
He's just saying they won't because
he's just saying the honesty.
They've got as good a chance as anyone as winning it.
They don't. No, they don't. Like, it's a harder draw. Like, it's easier for Barca to win it.
It was set up for a Real Madrid Barca final, but these things don't always go like that. Barca, Inter Bayern in the other one. And did Inter take the win last night?
Inter took it 2-1 away from home. Yeah. And Inter at home is an absolute fortress. And Yeah,
Inzaghi's been
again,
brilliant.
Martinez, the captain, just steps up when it counts for Inter. He's
It's a really weird thing about Lautaro Martinez. Like, he's one of these like forgotten generation players. He's still like not that old, but he's had such a great career, but he doesn't get spoken about in the way that he should
at
be.
all.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because he never really went, like he didn't have like a run in Spain or one of the top teams. He hasn't come to the
Yeah,
Prem, but
I think it's also
he's.
he hasn't turned up in the big moments in the World Cup. You know, there was a lot of talk about him sabotaging Messi's
I know,
World, World Cups.
I do imagine playing in that Argentina team as a forward must be quite difficult with Messi because a lot of it is based around him. But when
Yeah.
you see him at club level, he's always having good years.
Mhm.
But he is like a forgotten generation of player because he was not ever good enough to compete with Messi and Ronaldo and be in that conversation. But now, at the moment, the Vinnies, the Mbappes, the Jews, that those people now take over the narrative. Now these two have gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is a bit of a weird one for him. But he's an unbelievable player. And when you watch him play, he is just like he's so difficult to play against because people can't pick him up. He's just such a talent.
Well,
but yeah, if anyone can go to Inter and score a couple goals, Harry Kane can do it. So we'll see what they can do next week after.
yeah, this is probably a game changer for him as well because Bayern Leverkusen are just climbing up the point tally in the Bundesliga, and if they lose that and lose the Champions League, it's another season Bayern going trophyless. Like it's scary. Like at this point, real serious conversations need to be asked. How Harry Kane hasn't won an individual trophy.
They've got like a 7-point lead in the Bundesliga. They're not going to choke that. I can't see it. But they are out. They're both out the DFB Pokal, so there's no German Cup with them in it. But yeah, I don't think they would ever anticipate winning the Champions League this year, Bayern, with Kompany's first year. And I think they'll wrap up the Bundesliga and Harry Kane will say, yeah, see you later. Get his trophy.
You don't think he'll just do one more? You think he's got just one more?
We had this conversation the other week, though, didn't we? I just think if he wants to achieve what we all think is his number one of becoming the best goal scorer in the Prem, he can't come back at 33, 34 and do that. He needs to come back when he's still at the peak of his powers.
Oh, you think he'd go? I actually disagree with that. He's been asked. I think he was asked the question the other day about him going back to the Premier League, and he said he's happy, he's comfortable.
He's never going to say yes. I want to go back.
No, he did say he doesn't know where the rumors have come from, and he's very, very comfortable about it.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be 32 by the end of this season. So do you reckon he'd wait until he'll be 33 to come back to the Prem and have, 2 years at a crack at 50 goals?
I don't think he's that pressed about, being the all-time goal scorer in the Prem. I think
I think records do mean something to him. He's a numbers guy. He knows all his stats. He knows all the records. I think it does mean something to him.
Of course, it definitely does. But at this stage of his career, I think it means more to win trophies.
I don't know. I think for a man who's won as little trophies as he should have, he needs something to be his legacy, and I think having that Prem total will be it for him.
I mean,
winning a Bundesliga is not
the top goal scorer for England. That's something.
Yeah. But he needs like an accolade that says, right, I might have not won the Champions Leagues and the league titles I should have, but I am the highest Prem scorer that's ever lived.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree, but I just don't see. I mean, where does he even go? Like, he doesn't go City, he doesn't go Liverpool.
Definitely I can see him at Chelsea. I
could see him at Liverpool. I could see him back at Tottenham at some point.
You nearly said
Arsenal. I was like that.
Just no chance.
Definitely, he would not be going to Tottenham.
He could finish at Tottenham. He's a Tottenham kid, isn't he? So
I think he could finish at Tottenham. Do I think he transfers? Do I think he transfers to Tottenham?
No, they can't afford him. See him at Liverpool.
He doesn't go Chelsea because if he's a true Tottenham kid, he doesn't go Chelsea.
United?
We couldn't afford him.
You couldn't what?
We couldn't afford him.
I think United, well, it depends how much of a clear out there is this summer, but I think United 4 years ago was a Kane transfer.
Yes. Could have gone before Bayern, yeah.
I mean, maybe he's not cursed because that would have been a curse going to United.
It would have been. He definitely never won a trophy at that point, yeah. To be fair, he would have had
he would have won the FA Cup.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's a terrible thing to say.
Let's not venture too far down the league table. Let's stay with the elite end of sport.
I know for a fact you prepared that one.
Oh, he's been looking at that for hours.
I've got thousands of those lines ready to go. Constant ammo. But we will jump across to Japan, to Suzuka. We don't need to talk about it much. We could have spoken about it after qualifying because it basically was the order they qualified in, the order they finished. It was the top 6 finished as they qualified.
Absolute procession. Yeah, there's 2 issues going on. The tracks are not designed for these enormous cars. The enormous
They're so
cars,
wide.
they're so wide. These cars cannot follow each other. And well, the third issue is the tyres are too good. Like they're not degrading enough for there to be extra stops and people losing time and sliding around and stuff. And this was meant to be a really good year. And we're at this point where the last 2 races, there's not enough jeopardy. Like,
No, that's all.
are the drivers too good? Are they keeping the car on the track too well? Like, why is there, unless it rains, the last 2 races have just been absolute processions. And it's really difficult because it's not like there's one car that's really, really good. Like, it's whoever is finished starting on pole is not getting the impact of the dirty air on the tyres. They're not getting the problems following each other. And they're just driving away. And it's not like they're super far away. Like, Norris was pretty much 1.5, 2 seconds behind Verstappen for the entire race. And it's like, there's no jeopardy.
Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, Charles Leclerc, George Russell, Kimi Antonelli. Started in that order, finished in that order. How horrific to have a top 6 that don't overtake. Isaac Hajar, credit to him in the RB for qualifying in 7th, but he dropped down to 8th and Hamilton went up to 7th. And then, as he qualified, Albon, and then Oliver Bowman. So, I mean, the top 10 bar one place switch. How boring.
Only one driver got lapped. Do you know who it was?
Stroll?
The Nepo baby here. Stroll was the only one to get lapped in the entire field. And he's got a half-decent car, which is just...
Why is he called a Nepo baby?
Because his dad owns the team.
Yeah, his dad owns the team. Yeah.
His dad owns Aston Martin. Formula
What's
One.
interesting is that the other driver, although he didn't get points, Alonso being in 11th and Stroll being last is significant. It's very, very significant. If they want to win a world championship, they can't be doing a Verstappen and Perez. They've got to be having 2 competitive drivers.
Yeah, because Alonso, if you look at the points, Stroll's outperforming him on a points basis, which is crazy. They've appointed the best aerodynamic guy in the game. They've paid all that money for Newey. If you haven't got the talent to bring a car home, I'm not saying Alonso isn't talented, but he's 45, 44.
He's been in the game for a while, isn't it?
So old. I mean, obviously, for a Formula One driver, every year they're coming back in good shape, which is fine. But if you want to make your team from 6th, 7th best to fighting for wins, you've got to follow the McLaren structure, go and find some good young drivers, improve them, get some time in the car, and you grow with them. You don't grow with someone who's not probably going to be in the seat in 3 years' time. It's just
Would
a
you
weird
say
one.
the Stroll was similar situation as Bronny LeBron in
Not
terms of
quite.
talent?
Stroll is good. Like, don't get me wrong, Stroll's good. He's been a Formula One driver for 5 years. He won the categories growing up. He's always had the money to compete. So he's had
James and I disagree on this, but continue.
he's had the money to compete, which is one thing, but he's also won categories. Like, he's not really slow. He's not like Mazepin, who you might have heard about before, who was the Russian guy. He was Russian. He just bought his seat and he was terrible. We've seen Stroll on a podium before. We've seen him have half decent races, but I just think if you're a team that's aspiring to be, they want to be world champions, Aston Martin, like they're spending so much money into Formula One, they have to sort of try and find the owner's son something else to do that isn't drive the car.
Yeah, make him team principal. do whatever.
They're on about him entering a different series somewhere with Aston Martin, which would give him a job still. But being a Formula One driver is the most.
It's the pinnacle.
Yeah, it's the most prestigious drive in motorsport. He wants to have it. So.
Yeah, so the only jeopardy really came from McLaren not doing anything.
Yeah.
What McLaren should have done is changed up the strategy. They had Verstappen pinned because they had 2 drivers in the top 3 and Verstappen qualified on pole, by the way, just out of nowhere. He is the best driver on the grid. He's not racing in the fastest car, and he's making it the fastest car. It's phenomenal.
Do you think he wins the league this year as well?
I don't think so, because I think that was probably
No, I would say that the qualifying lap is one of the best laps that I've seen watching the sport. Like, I think over the last 5 or 6 years, you can mention so many laps that stick in your head, and that is going to be one of them. Like, I just think he's taken the 3rd or 4th best car and shoved it on the front row out of pure talent. That's all it is, pure talent. Like, they haven't got the best car, they haven't got the best setup, and he dragged that thing past two McLarens that were flying. And then I would also say that your call on the strategy that McLaren made was wrong. Like, they should have had someone go long, put Verstappen in some dirty air, like put him under some pressure, and then follow him with another driver. And Piastri was the quicker of the two, but they still got this weird issue where they're not prioritizing Lando, but they haven't picked a driver that they think is going to win the World Championship, because I think they could both do it.
But what that does is it undermines them both.
It does.
The challenge that they've got is it brings Verstappen into play. You're giving another team the advantage by compromising on your own strategy. You are giving someone else the upper hand. Like you said, they had to split the strategy, but I think they'll learn from it.
It's still early in the season as well.
I mean, yeah, I think that they'll learn from it. They pretty much didn't learn the whole of last season, and they probably ruined Norris's chance, as well as him making mistakes. It was like a little bit of both. It was a bit McLaren didn't make him number one driver early enough in the season, but then also he made mistakes too. So there was a couple of elements that meant he could have challenged Verstappen more last year. And then we're going to go into it again this year, that they're not picking a number one driver. Every other team, it's pretty clear like who the number one driver is. Maybe except for Ferrari with Leclerc and Hamilton. Yeah. But I think they'll let them race.
Yeah.
But McLaren are absolutely not letting their drivers race.
Yeah, I mean, it's still early, like you say. They probably just wanted a 2-3 finish because they still want that constructors. They don't want their cars taking each other out in round 3. But yeah, on to this weekend. So hopefully in Bahrain there'll be a bit more.
Bahrain is a better track for overtaking. It's got longer straights with heavy braking, and that sets you up well for overtaking, even with these really wide cars. And it should affect the performance of the tyres too. Hopefully,
yeah.
Fingers crossed.
What's your prediction?
Yeah.
For the top 3 finish going into Bahrain?
I think McLaren's have.
I think we see a 1-2 with McLaren and then George Russell at number 3.
It's probably not a bad shout, unless something goes terribly wrong. I'd go Norris, Piastri, Russell, Leclerc.
And to mix it up, I'll go against the Lando fan club. Come at us.
Well, usually I go for Piastri and I get bashed, so I'll go for a bit more Norris.
I'm going to go Piastri, Norris, Russell, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Then there's a break again before the next Grand Prix. So
yeah, the annoying thing must be for Hamilton having moved to this Ferrari is that Mercedes looks very stable now.
It's really stable, and it's the kind of setup that allows George to do really well in the championship.
Yeah.
And Verstappen's probably mopping up the points that I thought George might get. I didn't think he would get that much out of the Red Bull, and maybe he won't. But it also seems reliable. In fact, all the cars seem pretty reliable at the moment.
Annoyingly, yeah, I love a good like engine burnout or something breaking, but it's not just happening anymore. I would say that Mercedes looks reliable, but not massively fast. Like, it's quick, but it's not like, oh, I'm going to beat everybody quick. Right? Onwards.
Golf time.
Femi's so excited about the golf. I've heard he's got 3 massive predictions for us.
Who are you predicting this week? Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus.
Tiger Woods first, Tiger Woods second, Tiger Woods third.
So Tiger Woods did his Achilles a couple of months ago. Okay, good. I didn't know if you definitely knew, but he's definitely
No, definitely.
Yeah, bless him. I saw a video of him announcing some partnership for the TGR Foundation, and he's I think he's quite he's always had really bad hay fever. I didn't realise this until I looked it up, and his eyes are like really battered out at the moment.
I mean, he's been announcing some pretty strange partnerships. He announced one with Donald Trump's son's
former daughter-in-law. Yeah, that was a bit of a weird one because they made it so public, but like, this is private, but we're together now. It's like, oh, okay, lovely, have a great time.
So bizarre.
It's not too bizarre because of how heavily involved in golf the Trump family is. That they would cross paths an awful lot.
Yeah, and Kai Trump, I think the youngest daughter or one of the daughters is like a heading.
Which could be, hold on, Kai Trump could be Tiger Woods' stepdaughter.
Yeah, and she's like heading for like the pro game.
That's crazy.
So I assume they have a lot of shared interests. But yeah, so I'm really sad he's not playing because it brings a lot more eyeballs in. And I'd watch any golf tournament that he plays in. So yeah, to have him not for no majors this year is a bit of a loss.
Yeah, so what gets your eyeballs on the Masters this year then? What
I
are
mean,
the
it's
main
Masters, so I
stories
would've
that you're
watched-
watching?
I was in who am I watching for?
Yeah, obviously the Masters is the best sporting event that's ever been created.
Yeah, I
Second to the Masters is the Masters Par 3 event.
yeah, which is always a good Wednesday. I would say what the big storyline is always going to be Rory. I think it's like
Yeah.
will Rory McIlroy do it? Will this be the time that he mops his Grand Slam up? And I've backed him. I always have to follow my heart over my head, and I think that he's going into it looking really sharp, and his game's in a good place. And yeah, I just think this could be the time. But he could also shoot 80-80 and finish dead last. So who knows?
Yeah, he's been poor.
Yeah, he'll go in as I think he's 4-1. He's going in as the favourite as, but there's
Strong
a lot
odds.
of people, a lot of people that have a chance. I think they like Bryson. Rahm is always going to have like a go. He's not been lighting it up like he was doing before, but these guys that are coming across.
I mean, you're listing the LIV golfers. How much do you think only playing 3 rounds and not many tournaments in LIV affects these guys?
They're playing more than you think. I know the 3 rounds is a thing, but they're still playing like every other week. So I don't think that's a huge thing. I would say
Okay.
that these guys, they come across with a point to prove as well because they've been thought of as less than. And, when these majors and everyone's coming together, they want to win as much as anybody. So, yeah, I do think my other pick is the big LIV winner, Neiman. He keeps winning.
Joaquin
Neiman, who was a really talented guy before he went to LIV, and he's just got better since. And he's one of these guys that wants to play his way into every major, so he plays every event possible, not just LIV events, open events. He'll go to Australia, he'll go to Europe, and play wherever he can, and he tends to win a lot of them. So yeah, he's my pick for the week. But I'm really excited for that LIV PGA narrative to kick off again because I just think that's what makes the majors really great now.
and Ludwig Aberg, right?
Yeah, so my 3 picks: Rory, Ludwig, and Joaquin Neiman. And I've
Incredibly.
I've had £5 each way on the former prison convict Cabrera, who's just come out. I got
Not Scottie. I thought
No.
you were going to say jailbird.
No.
Like, how do you do a night in jail and come back and win the Masters? Like,
Did you watch?
how
the-
much better than everyone else are you?
He was just like, I did a whole Netflix episode about it, and he was like so unbothered by it all. He was just like, this is the weirdest day ever, but I'm fine. I'm going to go play golf. Like, I just don't think he takes anything too seriously, which is great.
His mugshot, I'll put it on the screen, but his mugshot looks an awful lot like John Rahm. How similar do they look?
Yeah, what with the morning shadow beard everywhere.
Yeah,
cleaned up.
exactly.
I backed 2000-1 Cabrera, who won the Masters 30 odd years ago.
Well, they're the kind of Masters wins that must really bother Rory McIlroy. Mike Ware, Angel Cabrera,
Danny Willett.
Danny Willett.
Danny Willett is an English guy, Femi, who has had a pretty standard professional career. He's got to the PGA Tour, but he won the Masters not by a fluke, but the guy that was leading had the world's biggest meltdown you'll ever see on a golf course.
It wasn't Rory, by the way.
It wasn't Rory either. It was Jordan Spieth. Should have gone back to back, and he was playing unbelievably. And he put a ball in the water with like 7 holes to go, and went from having a 4-shot lead to 1 back, and just never recovered. So Danny Willett of England won the Masters, and he's lived off it ever since, which is great. But every now and then, I wouldn't call it undeserved because winning a major is so hard. But yeah,
Would you say the Masters is like the one tournament where anyone can win it?
not anyone.
No, not anyone can win it.
Only top 50 in the world get invited, and then exemptions for winning a major in the last 5 years. Every returning Masters guy gets a return every year. He can come whenever they want. And then what's the
One
last?
special invite,
Yeah, they can throw out a few special
which is
distances.
Joaquin Neiman, and then obviously the amateurs too.
Yeah, so the winners of like the amateur cups around the world tend to play, and then if
I was going to
there's
say
someone,
amateurs usually get a chance with
yeah,
Masters.
so there tends to be like 5 or 6 amateurs in the field, and they'll have like a medal for the best playing amateur.
Has an amateur ever won the Masters?
No.
No, I don't think so. I think the even Tiger, when he turned up as an amateur, was like probably quite a few shots back.
I think it is a golf course where you get better from playing it more.
Better with age, yeah. No
There's
more.
a lot to learn about course management around Augusta, and the fact that it's the only tournament that's played at the same venue every year as well. It counts for a lot. Although saying that, the way that Rory plays it every year changes.
It does. It doesn't know how to. I will say the Masters is always like a real special event because it's you watch it as a kid. It's the one, even when you're not big into golf, most people will have watched the Masters at some point. And 2019 was when I was really getting back into golf, and to watch Tiger sort of plot his way around at 40 odd was just so special that you'll always watch it now.
I'm guessing it's like the Champions League of golf then.
It is. It's like it's like America. It's like the Super Bowl. It's like the best weekend in the sport. Yeah. But
It is, and it's the history of it. It's the beauty of it as well. It's like such a beautiful, perfect golf course.
it got battered. I don't know if you've seen some of the pictures, but
It
was
did.
a
Hurricane Helene, was it?
yeah, hit through Georgia. And if you think about, if you've ever seen pictures of Augusta before, Femi, like so many trees have come down that it looks a little bit bare because a lot of, from what I was reading, a lot of the trees are put there. They're not like they've been there for years and years, like they're planted in, but the roots don't go down so deep. So one hurricane came through and it looks a lot different this year, but yeah, it'll still be pretty good to look at.
My picks feel like it's always Xander because Xander's approach play and accuracy is so high, and I'll talk about accuracy for McIlroy in a minute. Morikawa is my other, Colin Morikawa, because he's just on form and is just getting better with age. I think Morikawa is going to stick around for a very long time. He's got the sort of game that is always going to compete in majors specifically, but always in tournaments. And then Tommy Fleetwood, because Joel's not here to predict him, and I love his golf swing, the best golf swing in the game. So it would just be a pleasure to follow him around and be cheerleading Tommy Fleetwood. So Rory McIlroy's accuracy is quite interesting because he has won 2 tournaments, and we've spoken about him being on form coming into the Masters. The best form, right, you've said, he's been on. However, his greens in reg and his fairways found are down on previous years. So he's not playing his best golf, but he's finding ways to win. So I don't know if that is a better omen for Rory, that he knows he's not played his best golf and he's still been able to win. Like he said himself that he's finding golf shots and making golf shots and using clubs differently and finding ways to play that he's never done before, and he's adding shots to his game. So
yeah, the reason I like McIlroy for it is all the reasons I don't like Morikawa for it. McIlroy's ability to hit the ball both ways has improved so much, which you need around the Masters. Like he can hit fades, he's drawing his irons really well. Like he can hit both of those off the tee. Where Morikawa is known for hitting the ball left to right. He fades everything. He can hit draw. It's just not super consistent. And from watching people play this golf club, you have to hit the ball both ways. Like it challenges you in a way that not many other courses do. So yeah,
I mean, famously someone like Bubba Watson who can absolutely sling it in both directions.
Yeah, exactly. It's a shot shaper's course. So yeah, I get your point about Rory. Like he is hitting the ball well and he's finding something, but he's also not playing perfect golf and winning, or he's there and thereabouts. So as long as he's hanging around, like if he can get through Thursday and Friday in a decent spot, I would be backing him to finish it.
Yeah, he chucked himself out of contention last year with a 77 on Friday.
Yeah. At least one on Thursday and Friday throws it off.
Yeah. Weather's looking good for this weekend, though.
Yeah. I mean, that's always good because sometimes you get a bit of bad weather and the course softens up and you see some really low scoring. So that's what we don't want. We don't want the course to play too easy. You want it to be difficult. You want it to be a challenge. You want it to be firm. So yeah, good weather should be better viewing for us.
And then Scottie Scheffler's got a cold, apparently.
Oh no, Scottie, get some Lemsip. I'm sure you'll be fine.
He said
$3.6 million on the line. I'm sure he'll find something.
I think it's having another green jacket that would do it for me.
Yeah, one of my favorite questions they gave Bryson, because obviously the big thing in the run up was him like content versus professional, and they're like talking about the option of him doing content at Augusta, and I was like, oh yeah, that sounds good, but it'll never happen. I think the only time I've seen them open it up was for like a Dude Perfect YouTube video, and it went down so badly they will never do it again.
Yeah, it was. They did an all sports battle. Who did they do it against?
They did it.
DJ, was it?
No, I think it was just them guys, wasn't it?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Hold on.
Still surprised they got it through, but yeah, maybe this was their first step in the modern era. I don't know if you saw the story.
It was with Bryson.
Bryson. Oh, was it? Yeah, it makes a bit more sense.
No surprise.
But yeah, this even I didn't understand how tight it was. Like even for these pros to play it, like if you've won it, you're a member, so you can go and play. But I think to go and rock up and play it is really difficult. You have to have a member for you. Like the pros can't just rock up and book a tee time.
And members only have so many invites they can do a year, right?
Yeah. So the Sunday before the Masters starts, like all the previous champions, I think, can take a guest of their choosing. So Scottie Scheffler played with his mum on Sunday, which is like, that's the best present you could ever get your parents, surely. Taking them
Happy
around.
Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I interestingly, I saw Luke Donald was stood behind the ropes today. That was funny.
Yeah,
Watching him talk to John Rahm from behind the ropes, like without access onto the course.
Can say he's
As the reigning Ryder Cup champion, captain.
Can't get himself in that top 50. But
Used to love Luke Donald playing golf though. I know, sure he still plays, but not competes like he used to. But his accuracy was phenomenal when he was world number one and winning the tours.
Yeah, he used to have a very aesthetically pleasing golf swing. Like I remember him with his little visor. It was good to watch, but he would never compete nowadays with the length and the power of these guys. But yeah, Masters. So you're going. What's your biggest pick? You saying Rory? Or you're going to go Scheffler?
I'm going to go Rahm.
It's so hard to choose between the two. I think like I watched Rahm today look so relaxed, and he can be really highly strung.
Yeah.
I think he's starting in the best possible position. I feel like Rory's just, I don't feel like this is going to be it this year. There's so much pressure with him winning 2 tournaments as well. It's just like another added layer of pressure that this must be the year. I think it's more like in 5 or 6 years' time when the expectation is actually dropping that he's just going to have a 4 days where he puts it together. So I'm gonna go Scheffler again, but he's not one of my picks because it's just boring to say Scheffler. And he's not on form. No, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go for Xander. I think Xander is my top pick. Yeah, I'm gonna stand by my picks: Xander Schauffele, Colin Morikawa, and Tommy Fleetwood.
He was fully fit. I could get it, but he's still just come back from his injury, isn't it? So I don't really know. But we'll come back to this next week and we'll see who knows what they're talking about and who's talking absolute rubbish.
Ludwig's got a heck of a chance.
He does. But I can't. I picked him last year. He came second. Gotta go someone.
Not a bad pick.
Yeah, I do.
I wonder what the other big story is going to be around the Masters. We never could have imagined Scottie Scheffler's arrest this time last year. What subsequently happened 12 hours later?
My biggest pick, my roguish pick is top 10 for Sergio Garcia. He'll place.
How's he doing on LIV at the minute?
Playing well. Playing some of his best golf at the moment. Yeah, coming as a returning champion. Obviously, he won it in 2008, 2009.
I think 2009. It takes an awful lot of pressure off having won it before.
Sergio Garcia, there you go. When that finishes top 10, you'll know I've won some money.
Is he more of an outside bet than Cabrera?
Oh no, Cabrera it's 2,000 to 1. I think he finishes top 10, I win like $2,000. So it was like worth burning a tenner for.
I know he won the Masters in 2017.
Who? Sergio?
Yeah.
Oh, it was 2008 the one he should have won. Yeah, he won it in 2017 against Rose. Yeah. But I just think the way he's playing this year and he wants himself back in the Ryder Cup. We've just taught Femi so much about golf. He knows everything now. He's going to sit there and watch 4 days of it.
Soaked it all in.
I think the coverage... The coverage is very extensive on Sky Sports. I don't know if it will be on... Is it on BBC Two? Like, they usually have it on BBC Two on Saturday and Sunday evenings from 7 p.m. or something. But that's coverage that's well worth a watch. But it's just... The course is immaculate. It looked incredible. To think that they had a hurricane run through it less than a year ago is crazy. They've done a great job with it. Well done, Augusta. So tune in next week to listen to us talk about how bad our predictions were and how much we don't know about all sports. We will also be speaking about the play-in tournament in the NBA as the season now comes to a close. Last few days of the NBA season, regular season now.
Tell you what we'll also do, we'll find out how Joe enjoyed Villa Park tonight.
And we will catch you on the next one. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.